welcome back to another episode of SPECTIVE, the podcast where we look beyond the obvious. How you doing, man? How are you doing today?
Good, man. I'm a bit hungry, actually.
Is it?
I'm a bit hungry. Skip breakfast today.
I'll be honest, I am too, I'll skip breakfast as well. We're doing an early one today, like earlier than usual.
But I'll be honest though, do you know what it is? I'm only 21 in it, so I've recently discovered coffee, bro.
Oh, you're a coffee guy?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm not a coffee guy, but obviously with my weight loss, the way it suppresses hunger, it's a game changer.
Yeah, that's
a game changer.
That's actually something I remember we need to talk about, that your weight loss journey.
Yeah, that will be on another episode.
That's a big one.
That is something you can deep dive into, weight loss the psychological.
Have you rationalized it yet, or is it just still like part of your journey? Is it something that you've deeped?
Yeah, I've deeped it a lot. Like the way a lot of people view weight loss is different person to person, to be honest.
Yeah. So we just cut this and we go munch now, yeah? So we just go eat. There's a mad restaurant literally right across the road. I can see it from there.
Yeah, literally.
That's actually banging. You've had that one?
I have had that, yeah.
It's banging. Okay, anyway, let's get into the podcast now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into the episode, right? So, talk to me, man. What you been doing lately? I know you went to the cinema recently.
Yeah,
you
Toy Story 5.
Toy Story 5.
Oh, I can't lie, yeah. It's a kid's movie at the end of the day.
It's Toy Story, but
you know what it is?
I'm almost 30. I'm going to watch it too.
Because it's Toy Story, yeah. First of all, it's the fifth one. It makes me realize how old I am, even though I'm still young, how old I am compared to when the first one came out. I don't even know if I was born when the first one came out. I was going to say,
was you about when the first one came? I think that was in the 90s, bro.
I was early.
I think it might have been 98
yeah, I don't think I was born. But anyway, even Toy Story 3 came out maybe, 2010?
Yeah.
So even then, now 16 years and Toy Story 5 has come out.
Damn.
And you know what it is, yeah? The what's the word? The matter that it tackled was actually dark.
Is it?
I thought it was dark.
So I know. I've seen the trailer, and I found the concept to be. When I first saw the trailer, I thought, nah, this is AI, because I did not think that Disney would explore this concept.
Technology.
Like you said, it's a dark concept, right? It's basically exploring iPad babies.
Yeah, literally iPad. I am one of them. Yeah, I'm literally one of them. I grew up on tech. I grew up on iPads and YouTube and all of that stuff.
Must be nice.
I don't know, man. I think because what the movie, obviously for guys watching or listening, no spoilers.
Is there spoilers?
Nah, I won't spoil it.
Is there spoilers in Toy Story? I don't know.
I mean, you can, but I'll just give you the gist. It's basically just how there are kids in this generation who are raised by parents who don't expose their children to technology and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And those children struggle to make friends in today's society. And it's actually dark how that can affect a child, a young child.
So the child that isn't integrated with technology
is struggling to make friends, to mix in.
That's the exact opposite of what you would think.
Exactly.
You would think that somebody who's less inclined to use technology and is more social would have a better understanding of making friends.
Yeah, and then the movie just expresses how every kid is just on the iPad, every kid is just glued to a screen.
Now literally, I'm deep in what you just said now, and the more I think about it, the more crazy it sounds that the kids who aren't integrated in technology are finding it harder to make friends. That is crazy. Wow. So that's the concept that they explore.
That's the concept, yeah. And I enjoyed it. I watched it twice. I watched it once with my family, and I enjoyed it. But then I watched it again, and I realized that it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's rewatchable.
I still gotta watch it on my Toy Story, for God's sake. I mean, how can you not watch that?
Yeah.
I even if they release a Toy Story 18 when I'm 65 years old, I'm watching it, bro. It's Toy Story. I don't care.
I feel like they want to do a Toy Story 6 because they wanted to do 2 trilogies. But I don't know what they can explore now. I genuinely think technology was the big thing, iPads. But I don't know what they can do next.
And you say you grew up on technology And how would you say that do you feel like when you look at the generation above you that there's a stark difference in how you approach life to how they do?
Do you know what it is? I don't know if people will agree with me in this, but I feel like when I was, let's say, 12 to 16, I saw the people, the generation above me, they would go out, they would do this, do that, but they would be out, they'd be socializing, and then that's when I was on my iPad and doing just technology, right?
Yeah,
but now it's come to where I'm 21, but though that generation above me have now become inclined to be technology people.
The whole world has.
The whole world. That's what I'm saying. I feel like my childhood and obviously teen teenage years was where everyone was transitioning into it, whether you were young or old.
Yeah, it's true.
But one thing that is a fact is that when I was younger, I certainly saw like technology was a bigger part of my life than it was of the generation above me.
Yeah, it definitely was. And it's interesting because we actually touched on that last episode when we spoke about how being like the gap in understanding between us and our parents, and how we were 12, 13 years old and have access to the entire world, how that shapes your, not just your understanding or perspective in life, but your relationships with the people around you, and people who don't understand what it is to grow up like that.
But I think now with tech is too part of day-to-day life, like in terms of
it is life now, isn't it?
It is life, and that's the thing that is very useful. I'll be so honest, like tech, I'm not one to just be like, it's ruined the world, it's ruined everyone's lives. Like I think tech's very useful, but it's the way that like it can have its bad sides, or it can have its negatives. Yeah,
exactly. It's one of those things where it's the benefits of it, I wouldn't say outweighs the negative, but it certainly balances it out. Because I've always thought this, it's never about the technology or the new thing. It's about whose hand is it in.
That's true.
It always goes back to the individual and the person, because like your algorithm is designed by you, right? It's not somebody else that's forcing that content onto you. It's everybody's placing the content out there, and you're attracted to what you're attracted to, and then that's what you consume. In the same way that anything in life, like I could even use an example of, let's use an extreme example now. If I was to say, right, there's a gun on this table right now, someone will look at that and be like, that's a dangerous creation. But actually, when it's on the table and no one's touching it, it's an inanimate object. There is no danger to you or anybody when that gun is on the table. Now all of a sudden, if I have that gun in my hand and I point it towards you, now there's danger. Because it has nothing to do with the actual creation. Obviously that aids it, but it all comes down to the individual that decides what they're going to do with it.
And I can even link that back to phones, bro. Like imagine a phone, right? Like you said, it's just that it's an inanimate object when it's just there. But let's say an individual chooses to go on their phone while they're driving. Now there's danger.
That's on them.
Exactly.
I always say this. Look, Michael Jackson said it best. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. I'm starting with a man in the mirror, because at the end of the day, what I think most people miss is that they blame the technology, they blame the innovations, but what they don't blame is themselves. Because once that technology is in the wrong hands, that's when it's dangerous. But in the right hands, it's a benefit to the world, because AI and internet and all these things, they could be a beautiful tool. But it's just that when people have agendas, they can weaponize that same thing. It's like, for example, Albert Einstein, right? When he created the idea of the theory of relativity, I think it is E equals MC squared, right?
That one.
That one. that
I'm just pretending I know what he's saying to me.
So when he came up with that, his purpose behind it was like, I want to improve people's understanding of the world around us, like movement, momentum, like how things are the way they are. But that same level of understanding and that theory he brought to the world, in the wrong hands, it was used to create the first atomic bomb.
Okay, I was going to see. I actually do know where you're going with this, because I watched Oppenheimer.
Right, exactly. I actually haven't seen Oppenheimer, but I know the story.
What movie?
I do need to watch that. But it's like Einstein created this revolutionary theory that changed the world, and we could have used that to benefit us in so many ways. But in the wrong hands, that same science, it was used to destroy an entire nation. Because it had nothing to do, and Einstein's not looking at that thinking that, oh my God, I created that, because he didn't. He created something beautiful. He discovered or created, I don't know, something beautiful and something revolutionary, but in the wrong hands, it was weaponized. And that's the same with everything we're talking about, with AI, with technology, with internet. Everything is completely safe until it's in the wrong hands. And that could be you. That doesn't have to be somebody else. Like I said, man in the mirror, it could be you. So we need to regulate that. That's actually not how I thought.
It's crazy how Toy Story 5 turned into that.
Literally I did not think that the podcast was starting off like that. That's crazy. Toy Story 5. That's crazy.
I don't know if you've seen. What
else has been happening lately?
That crash on the A13.
Oh, I did see that.
bro.
The car crash where the guy where he did
one car hit a gap. Yeah,
I saw that.
The other car tried following, and then it clipped the rear end of a car, and it flew into a pole.
It was so the first car made the gap.
The second car didn't make the gap.
Clipped and it went flying into a pole. What's the update on that? Is it?
I genuinely was checking that today. From what I know, from what is out there, I think an 18-year-old boy and a 19-year-old boy passed away. And I think there's a 17-year-old boy in critical condition. That's what I've heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
on life support, I think. Yeah, and then the 3 men were arrested as well. I'm not sure what for.
Of course, first and foremost,
condolences to the family.
Condolences to the family.
Losing someone in a car crash is dark, man.
18, you said?
Young kids, bro. 18, 19.
Oh man, it's such a tricky one.
Because like you say, condolences to the family.
Yes.
And I think we should move away from that situation.
Yeah, in individual situation, we don't know anything about.
Yeah, obviously, it's very contextual. But I think what the video we saw was that they were speeding, right? And let's move away from the situation and look at speeding as like just by itself.
Oh yeah, speeding's a big problem.
Big, especially because these boys were South Asian, right? So
they were.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
So
know.
speeding within the South Asian community, I genuinely think it's the most useless, and I would call it selfish, bro.
Yeah,
because it's selfish.
I mean, look, I've personally been in situations where I've been in a car, and the guy who's driving, South Asian guy like me, when we were younger, just could not get himself to slow down, just absolutely booming down the highway. And I've been in the passenger seat in those situations, and I just find myself sitting there, and it's really tricky, because at that time when I was younger, I was more likely to conform to situations, and I didn't want to be the guy that's like,
sure,
everyone slow down, guys. Like, people look at me like, bro, what you on, fam? Like, really?
And the thing is, the worst part is, most of the time the people in the car will be pulling out their phones, recording, be like, yo, this is lit, yo, go faster, honestly, faster.
I would literally fear for my life and not say anything. Do you know how crazy that is? I would fear for my life and not say anything. It wasn't until I got a little bit older, maybe a couple years down the line, where that same person or the same individuals would do it, I'll be like, no, not happening now. But in my younger years, like the years you're talking, the years of like late teen, in those years I was like, I guess this is what we do now. Let's just, and I would have that trust that it's cool, we'll make it. But there was no guarantee that we were gonna make it.
Yeah, and the thing is, cool, man. You can be a sick driver, like you can know the dimensions of your car.
Usually
you can know the roads.
They are the sick drivers.
But do you know what it is? It's like you can't control what happens around you, bro. Like if you're speeding and something happens out of your control, like that's it. That could just end your life.
One break from another car,
and the worst part is like more time they're trying to look cool, they're trying to act hard, and it's just not.
Again, we're separating it from the situation.
We're separating from the situation, but
we have seen situations.
On occasion, how many South Asian boys have been arrested for doing balloons and recording themselves going at high speeds? Bro, it's absolutely
that one is the worst one. Anytime I see a driver in a car and he's got a balloon in his mouth, I swear, I just feel like ramming my car straight into them, just so that I could save everyone else on the road. Just take them, because I swear I feel passionately about this. Who do you think you are?
Genuinely, I agree.
Because there's a certain level of responsibility when you're behind the wheel, not just for yourself and not even just for your passengers, but for other people on the road. Like, bro, come on, man. How can you think it's okay to be completely out of your mind, loopy, like your mind's dizzy, and you're driving a car 70, 80, 90 miles an hour? Bro, at that point, it's mental illness, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Because I want to go back to that point of they can make the claim of, I'm in control of the car, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. Bro, one child steps out into the road, one person hits sharp brakes, bro. You can't control that. Bro. And then that's it. You being a certain driver doesn't mean anything.
It don't. And like, it's like, I say like, what do you gain from this? But from the other perspective, I understand what they gain from that, because the ratings that you just said that they get means too much
to them.
Which is what needs to change inside of them.
It makes you worry though. Like, imagine, why do they feel the need to do that in order to be respected by someone else?
Honestly, that don't make no sense. Why is that the level of respect you want to gain in your life?
Yeah, and that's the thing, they're gaining that respect from someone who really and truly is probably as foolish as them. You get me? Because
that's the cycle, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the cycle where they're in it and they can't see outside of it.
They can't see it from
I mean,
it's
sad, man, because life is
precious.
Life is precious, man. Like,
do you know what it is? Things like this, again, this situation, it just reminds me, like, obviously, I don't think you should dwell on these things too much.
Yeah.
But when these reminders come, you should just realize that, cool, life isn't guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah. It does give you that sense of reflection and actually pivoting from the situation. It actually does connect to what we're going to talk about today.
Today's episode,
and I didn't know you were going to start off with that. Actually, that's twice now you've brought something forward and we transitioned it into this episode that unknowingly. So what I wanted to get into today is a concept that I think was one of the leading concepts into why I wanted to do podcasting. This is one of the topics I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're getting to do that today, because this is why I wanted to do podcasting, to talk about things like this.
Yeah, and you made me aware of that as well.
Yeah.
I remember when you brought it up, you told me about the things you wanted to talk about, and this was
a big one. And obviously it's probably going to be in the title of the video, so they already know it. I don't know why I'm building suspense for no reason. So the topic of conversation is the purpose of life.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the journey of life, but for now we're going to talk about the purpose of life. Now, I guess I don't have a question to frame this, but what I do want is, obviously, as we know, the podcast SPECTIVE, I want individual perspectives. So I'm going to throw it over to you, and I'm going to say to you, what does purpose mean to you? And if you have time to answer the sub question, do you believe you have one?
Okay.
A purpose.
I think purpose is the definition itself, which is what is something meant for. In this case, the something is us, humans.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, a lot of people, a lot of religious people, think their purpose is to serve God. But I think you can have purposes alongside that. I think that your purpose is very specific to the type of person you are.
Right.
And I think the way you view life is very important. The things you value in life are also very important. So for me, I know I'm only 21, but for me, I've already realized that, okay, cool, this might change, right? But currently, when you say, what do you think do you think you have a purpose? I think I do. And I think I have experienced, and some things I've not experienced yet, but I can just tell that those things aren't going to bring me any fulfillment. Let's say whether it's money or fame or whatever it may be. I've looked into all those things.
So you kind of know which direction your fulfillment is.
My fulfillment, I think when I'm most fulfilled, I want to say happy, because happiness is I think that's a very vague word to use, right? I say when I'm most fulfilled is when I'm bringing I'll use it now, where I'm bringing happiness and joy to others, when I'm making other people's days, because that's not even me being a people pleaser. I think because that making other people's days and making them happy fulfills my purpose, which I think is genuinely, it might sound generic, but I genuinely think it's true, is just to be a good son, to be a good brother, to be and one day, hopefully, inshallah, a good father and a good husband. And I genuinely think I can, and obviously alongside that, serving God, I can die happy, genuinely.
And that's really
fulfilled
powerful.
Is the main word.
That's really powerful, because it does touch on what I wanted to talk about as well in terms of purpose, because what you've identified there is that you've understood that purpose isn't this big life-changing thing. It's just like you use the perfect word, fulfillment, because happiness, sadness, excitement, these are emotions, and they're fleeting emotions. They're emotions that you go through during the day. But what you want is a baseline of fulfillment that then allows you to go through every emotion during the day, but still go to bed content because you're fulfilled.
Exactly.
You're not empty. And that's important. And look, my perspective on purpose, see, with me, I'm a very generally like curious person. So it's like, I like to ask people a lot, like I just asked you, what is your purpose? Do you think you have a purpose? And actually, I came to find that most people, I say most, a large amount of people don't believe that they have a purpose in life. And I'll be honest with you, bro, that to me is insane. It's crazy. It's actually crazy because I don't think that they believe that. I just think that they feel that. And my thing is this, right? I use this analogy, this example. I've used it before, and I think it encompasses everything I want to say on the matter. Imagine there's a person out there now in the world, and every day he wakes up and he tends to his garden. He has a little garden in his backyard, and he has a bit of grass, a bit of plants, some flowers, and he goes every day, he wakes up and he waters his garden and tends to it. Now that person might go online one day and he might come to see that there's somebody out there that has traveled to the Amazon rainforest and has decided to plant 10 million trees. Now that individual will look at himself and be like, wow, look what this person is doing. Like, look at the wildlife that they're preserving. Look at the amount of oxygen they're providing the earth. Look at the reach that they're having. 10 million trees, that's mad. Like, that's purpose. But what that individual fails to realize is that to those 12 blades of grass in his garden, he's the most important person in the world. To that patch of greenery outside in his garden, he's the most important person on the entire planet, because that patch of greenery outside in his garden isn't concerning itself with the person in the rainforest. It's not looking to the rainforest and thinking, wow, no, because its very existence is dependent on you, is dependent on that person. If that person ceases to exist today, that grass doesn't know what its tomorrow looks like. That's purpose. See, I think the big misconception in purpose in today's society is that I think it's a perspective thing. I think people's perspective don't let them see that they could be living in their purpose right now, but it's the comparisons where they look around that rob them of their opportunity of living in their purpose. It's the
saying genuinely. I live by this. By this saying is comparison is the thief of joy, and I know millions of 100%. People, if not billions, live by this as well. And genuinely, social media, like we were talking about before, tech, bro. Social media is the biggest advocate for
100%.
This,
and that has shaped people's minds to think that their purpose needs to be big.
Like, it needs to be big, or it needs to be the same as someone else's.
Right.
It's like,
and if it's not as big as that person's, then clearly this ain't a purpose.
Or it's invalid, or it's not good enough.
That's the purpose. This ain't the purpose, because that's big and this is small. But what I think is important to remember is that purpose, like most things in life, isn't about size. It's about how relative it is to you. So the importance to that, like I said, the importance of that individual to his small garden is the same level of importance as that person planting 10 million trees, relatively, right? And that's the important thing to remember, is that, like, purpose could be, let's say, purpose could be this, what we're doing right now, starting a podcast, trying to reach people. But purpose could also be mothering a child.
100%.
Purpose could also be teaching one person how to read, or it could be traveling the world and performing songs all over the world, and performing for people. It could be as big as that, or it could be as I don't want to say small, or as individual as just benefiting one person. And it's always relative, because it's not about the size, it's about the importance. And I remember having a conversation with one of our family members, actually, your age, or one of your cousins, basically. And it was interesting, because that day we were like, this was like maybe a year ago now, and we were like pretending to do a podcast.
Oh, okay.
It was in your house.
Was I there?
You were there. It was you and the man, basically. And
the thing is, we do that so many times.
Yeah,
like, it's hard
and
to
I remember
which one it would
when
be.
we were pretending to do this podcast, I brought up this topic because, like I said, this is a topic I knew.
I remember exactly what you're talking about now.
And I asked the individual. I don't want to say names, just in case they might not want their names, but if they do, they'll know who they are. I asked him, and I said, "Oh, but what about purpose? You want to talk about purpose?" And his response was, "Purpose? But ain't nobody trying to talk about purpose. That ain't a thing. I don't have a purpose. I mean, what is purpose anyway? What, you get it, and then what? Then what do you do?" And that response changed my perspective, because it made me understand something. It made me understand not what purpose is, but what it isn't. Purpose isn't something that you collect and that you put on the shelf and put in a glass box and then show to people.
It's not an achievement.
It's not an achievement. Purpose is something that you don't receive, you live inside of. Purpose is something that when you find it, you get the privilege to wake up every day and do it again, and want to do it again. Like, you wake up the next day and you want that next 24 hours because you're living inside of a purpose. It's something that repeats day after day, and it gives you, like you just said, that sense of fulfillment. It's not something that just like rots on a shelf and it's just like, oh look, I found purpose, now I have nothing to do in my life. No, it's about living inside of that every day.
And I think from the flip side of it, because obviously there's perspectives, the perspective of different people are very different, right? And I want to look at the perspective of someone who thinks they don't have a purpose, right? Because I think a lot of people are like that, where they're like, oh, you're just deep in it, like it's not that deep, it's like life's not that deep, just it's like you're thinking.
I've heard that
too many times, and they'll just say to you, oh, like don't dwell too much on these things, and they're like, for example, these people, they don't believe they have a purpose, right? I want to ask these people, and you may have asked them this exact question. I might have a response for me. It's like, what do you do everything for then? Why do you wake up? Why do you go to work? Why do you do every X, Y, and Z that you do throughout the day? What path? What are you trying to go? What are you trying to do?
What are you trying to achieve? I mean, I haven't asked that question specifically, and that's actually a good question that I should have thought of to ask, actually. But I mean, yeah, you're right, because like, what does life mean to you without purpose? Is it just existing? If that's the case, look, fair enough. But again, if life is just about existing, there is something that you're doing in that life that is like getting you through the next day. And what perspective is about is understanding that might be your purpose. It's like I said, you might be living inside of your purpose, like you said as well, but it's the comparison that's making you feel like that's not a purpose. But it is. There is something that drives you every day to something, and that is where your purpose is. And if you follow that thread without being distracted by what everyone else is doing, then you can find yours, and just accept the fact that it doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, but it has to be the most important to me.
I think
that's purpose.
I think a lot of people in today's generation, anyways, in today's society, shall I say, not generation, they struggle. What you just said, they struggle to accept having a purpose that may seem insignificant compared to someone else's. And I think that's why they try living a life that's not meant to be theirs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That comparison that you're talking about, it makes people not find themselves, lose themselves, because like you just said, they might be living inside of somebody else's purpose now, because they think that's what they want, and
they will fully convince themselves that this is the life they want to be living, when deep down they know that it's not, because it's like everyone knows themselves, but everyone also has the possibility of losing themselves. And we have all the tools in today's society to aid us in losing ourselves. 100%.
And we should not live inside of somebody else's vision or purpose, and we should try to find ours. It's the saying, it's like, live yours, right? Live yours.
And the question I want to ask is, do you think throughout life purpose changes? and how frequently do you think it can change?
I think I think that the core principle of the purpose doesn't, but I do think that it throughout your life is shaped differently. So it looks like different things. And if I can give you a quick example with me, for example, like people might have thought 2-3 years ago that music was my purpose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're here to make this music and touch people with your words and your lyrics. But I understood from early that music wasn't the purpose, and nor is podcasting. But the feeling that both of those two things give me, that what we spoke about in the first episode, when it comes to the reach to people, the storytelling, the ability to make something create something that makes someone feel something, that was my purpose. And like I said, it changed and the shape of it altered like through my journey of life. But the concept I always knew was solid, and so it didn't matter to me what position I was in or what art form I was in. It was never about the art form, it was about the art. And that to me was purpose.
So essentially, like, the subcategories can change to the category itself, which is purpose.
Because like you know, like it's the feeling, like you know when you're close to your purpose or when you're living inside of it, but sometimes you might not see that the way you're doing it right now is not giving you fulfillment. But that doesn't mean the purpose isn't there. It just means you need to change the way you do it or the way you approach it. Because you know, like deep inside of you, that the purpose is that way. So I just need to keep going that way and reshape some things. So I to answer your question, I don't think the purpose in and of itself changes. But I think the way you go about accepting that purpose and receiving that purpose changes throughout your life.
Okay. And do you know what it is? It's like, I think people can get confused themselves. So for example, let's say you said your purpose is creating something that makes someone feel something. Yeah. That's the thing. Not everyone will understand that that's their purpose. For example, if you started music, and another individual might think, cool, my purpose is music, right? And then let's say,
and they'll stick onto it for longer than they probably might.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's say music didn't go the way they wanted it to. They think, oh, what's my purpose then? Because a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't think that far. They like, even when a lot of people don't even think far enough to come to purpose, and the ones that do don't think far enough to think what purpose actually is and how it can.
And how the concept of it versus the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how, again, even if people do know, if people are aware of purpose or what their purpose might be, they can still get lost because they think their purpose is specific to what it actually is. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is that it's the understanding of, like, it's not about what you do, it's about how it makes you feel.
Yeah. And like, people get lost in making, like, how do I explain that? What I'm trying to say is, people have a purpose, like you say, right? But they might think their purpose, the category is purpose, and how we just converse that the subcategories can change, but they might think their purpose is that subcategory. And they can't realize what their purpose actually is.
Yes.
Like,
and if that subcategory falls apart, they feel like, oh, I've blown my shot of having a purpose, or I no longer have a purpose. But what they need to realize is that no, you've just removed the subcategory, and that's fine, but the purpose is still very much alive. So just reshape it and go right back to it, and you'll find that feeling again. And I think I'm an example of that. I think you are as well, because you've changed throughout your journey in things that you've had interest in and things you've pursued.
Yeah, I think the thing is with all of this is that it's difficult whether you think you have a purpose or not. I think if you don't have a purpose, it's difficult to have that feeling of being lost and feeling like, why am I even here? Like, dark, like it can get dark for some people. Some people without a purpose genuinely think, what's the point of me being on this planet?
But that's why.
But then also, sorry to cut you off. I just want to finish my point, which is people who do have a purpose, and struggle to fulfill their purpose have those same struggles. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's from both perspectives. It can be as hard as having thinking you have a purpose to thinking you don't have a purpose.
In that scenario, which one would you rather struggle with?
That's the thing.
Would you rather struggle with the idea of your very existence and that you don't have a purpose, or would you rather struggle in just trying to find it?
I'd rather struggle to try and find it, because
and that's why
the struggle of not having a purpose can just lead into a dark, depressive, suicidal mindset.
But that's why I say it's a perspective thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you have to be very honest with yourself and think, okay, am I feeling like I don't have a purpose because I don't know myself yet, or is it because I'm looking around and seeing that I don't relate to anybody else? Because finding it is one thing, but accepting that you have it is another. And I genuinely don't believe that there is one single human being walking this earth today that doesn't have a purpose. I genuinely believe that, because why else would you be here? Why else? Because once you accept the fact that you were created and placed on this earth, then you ask the question, why? And if that why isn't for a reason, and it's for no reason at all, then I would question how you can come to that conclusion. Because if there was no reason for you to be here, I don't think you would be here. Genuinely. But then people from another perspective again can just give you that thing of, I genuinely don't think I have a purpose, and then, like I said, they can lead them down a dark path, and they can genuinely say, I don't think I was supposed to exist in the first place. That's their perspective, right?
Yeah.
But is that the truth? That's the different thing, because what people think is different to what reality is. And actually that sense of reality brings me nicely to what I want to talk about in terms of, purpose is one thing, but like you said, that feeling of not feeling like you have a purpose and wanting to not exist, it kind of hinders your ability to go through the journey of life. And a lot of people think, they get, me included, maybe you included, get this idea of predestination versus free will really confused. And I say that from my own experience as well. I really have struggled to understand what parts of this life are predetermined for me and what are the things that I'm using my free will, exercising my free will to try and achieve. Do you have any insight on that, on the situation of predestination, free will?
I mean, the thing is, obviously, when you look at it from an Islamic point of view, right, is the Qadr of Allah it exists in Islam, and it's that everything is predetermined. Everything that is going to happen, Allah knows it's going to happen. He's written it for it to happen. And a lot of people struggle with that idea, because then they say, okay, what's the point then? What's the point of me thinking? What's the point of me doing? What's the point of me trying to change anything? But that's the thing, though, is that the life that you live and the experiences that you have, you are still responsible for it, and you still, you have to take accountability for your actions, and
that's where your free will comes in.
That's where your free will comes in, because it's still you. It's still you making those decisions. Just because Allah wrote it millions of years ago doesn't mean that it's not you. It's still you making those decisions. It's still you having that free will to live your own life.
And that's a very important thing, because to understand in Islam, the concept of Qadr is so powerful. And for those of you who don't know, the Qadr basically, I guess in English, in its simplest form, not in its because it's a very complex term, but in its simplest form, I would say it means fate. Fate or destiny. Destiny. What is destined for you. And it actually says, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if it says in a hadith or in the Quran, but it is a saying that in Islam we believe that God has declared that what is meant for you in this life will reach you, even if it's between two mountains, and what is not meant for you won't reach you, even if it's between your two lips. So that is what we mean when we say qadr. What is meant for you will reach you. No matter what you do, it's gonna reach you, even if it's as far as in between two mountains. And what's not meant for you, you could be so close to it, it will never reach you, even if it's as close as your two lips. And that is the understanding that we are not in control of the outcome. What we are in control of is the process. The outcome is for the one who woke us up this morning. Because when you deep in, when you understand that, like last night I went to sleep and my consciousness just drifted into the abyss. I didn't place it there, nor did I collect it and put it back in myself to wake up this morning. I didn't do any of that. There is a higher being out there that is allowing this world to function in a way that is sometimes uncomprehendable to us. And this is the thing, I don't think life is about understanding all of it. It's just about accepting that it, and that acceptance is freeing, because it allows you to
just live your life.
It allows you to live your life and live inside your purpose and not worry about the outcomes, because the outcome, the same way that you aren't reminding yourself to breathe right now, or reminding your blood to pump through your body, or your heart to beat, or your eyes to blink, the way you're not reminding yourself of that, it's being taken care of you. The outcomes of all of that is not in your control, it's just happening. The same way that in the environment, how everything just functions together, how the plants and the trees make the oxygen for us to breathe, that we breathe the carbon dioxide out, and the way the ozone layer, and how everything interconnects, how lives interconnect with each other. We are not in control of that design, because that's not for us to understand, it's just for us to accept, and it's freeing to live inside of that. But when it comes to the journey of life and this idea of predestination and free will, there's only one way that I feel like I can rationalize it. The way I see it is this, right? What is meant for you is predetermined, right? It's destined. Like that thing, what that you're gonna reach, that's set in stone. Now, I believe, so if that's predestination, I believe your free will comes in roads. So whilst that thing is set in a certain location, the predetermined outcome, you get to use your free will to decide which road you're gonna take to get there. Are you gonna take the shortcut that has no speed bumps and go straight to it, or are you gonna take the long road? And are you gonna take a few lefts and you're gonna go the wrong way, and then you're gonna have to take a U-turn and exit and come back?
And that's the thing even people struggle to come to terms with, because even the road you take is predetermined also. But is the word, like you said, the word of free, you still have the free will to make that decision in your own consciousness. That's the important part.
You choose which one, because you can choose the right path or the wrong path or any path in between. It doesn't matter, because you'll get there eventually. But what you're doing is just adding different dimensions to your life in which road you choose to go down. It's like when I was in university, for example, I chose to go down that road, and I kept going down that road until I visualized, and I sat and I closed my eyes, and I could see that road was leading nowhere. So I had to somehow get back onto a road that gives me closer to my purpose. And as crazy as it might sound, or as wrong as it might sound to some people, religious people in particular, the journey of music helped me get back on that path. And I know that doesn't make any sense maybe, but it allowed me to at least get back on a certain road, so that I can now follow where I'm predetermined to reach. But the thing is that it's not just about the roads, because within that road, you're also, in front of you, as is life, there are obstacles. And with obstacles also comes tools, because you see, you might think to yourself, in this design that I'm mapping out of like roads and a predestination and tools and obstacles, where does God come in all of this? And that's the beauty of it. God is in all of it, because he determines the outcome, he places the road, he places the obstacles and the tools, gives them to you, and then sits back and watches you as you navigate all of that. And how and you will be judged at the end of it of how you navigated. Because here's the thing, right? The interesting thing about life to me is that what somebody else's obstacle is could be a tool for me, and what a tool is for me could be an obstacle for you. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say for me, for example, My obstacle is fear.
Okay.
Fear of something, anything, rejection, whatever, blah, blah, blah. My tool could be the people around me, my friends, my family, who talk me out of that fear. Now I can overcome that obstacle. Now for you, for example, you might be blessed or have the privilege of abundance in this life. You could be blessed with an abundance of wealth, for example.
Okay.
And you might think to yourself, right, that's a mad, amazing tool I have. But in reality, that could be your obstacle. See, this is the thing. You need to realize in your life what parts of what's been given to you are tools and which are obstacles. Because if you think that abundance is a tool, then you have to look at all other aspects of your life and think, okay, have I done good with this? And if I have, then it's a tool. But if I've lost my way from that abundance, it was an obstacle. And the tools might have been, again, the people around you or the opportunities in front of you that where you could have used that abundance of wealth in better ways, but you didn't. You chose to be stuck in it, because you might think to yourself, why can't I have everything? I have money, but I don't feel inside. I don't feel good. It's because you didn't realize that abundance that was given to you wasn't a tool or a blessing. It was your test and it was your obstacle. So we have to determine, and that's where our free will comes in as well. We determine what road we take, and then we analyze the things around us and decide for ourselves which one of these things are tools, which one are obstacles, and utilize them in a way to use the tool to overcome the obstacle, to then allow us to get onto the path where we can get to that predetermined qadr or destiny of ours. And that to me is how I rationalize the journey of life. Within that comes purpose, because you find your purpose along the way, and it aids you in that journey. It's like the engine in the car that allows you to just keep going and going, and sometimes you have to fill it up, sometimes you're on low, sometimes you're absolutely full and you're flying. And in those moments you have to just realize that you just got to keep going and going and going until you reach what was eventually meant for you. And I can see the existential crisis in that. When you reach it, you think that, oh, it was meant for me anyway. But that's where I come back to the beginning of the episode and I say, well, it's about living inside of it. So now you got to wake up tomorrow and live inside of it again.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, I think you made the point as well, but I just want to say it again, which is you'll have your obstacles and you'll have your tools and you'll be on your path, whatever it may be. But I think the main thing within all of that is like you said as well, living within your purpose, but again, just being good and doing good. Because for me, like that explanation you just gave, a lot of people can listen to it or just look at it and be like, that's too complicated for me. Or I can't come to terms with the concept of everything's predetermined but I still have free will. I don't get it. Like, I think to make it more simple, not even more simple, just more generic, I'd say, is the most important part of it all, whether you want to understand the deep dive into it or not, is just to make sure whatever you are doing is good for yourself and for the people around you.
Yes, that is a big thing, because I mean that could be a purpose in and of itself, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Just being good. Why can't that be a purpose?
100%.
That's something you can live in every day.
100%. Like it comes back to the purpose that I mentioned when at the beginning of the episode I said my purpose is to be a good brother, a good son, a good nephew, a good uncle, good father, a good husband. I just used good 7 times there. I just want to be a good person, and then I want to die, and that's it. Here's the thing. I want to give you an alternative perspective, because life is very polarizing, right? It's feelings, it's up, it's down. It's one day you're feeling like the most motivated person in the world, and the next you don't feel like you have any sense of purpose. And I want people to understand that just because we both said all of this, that doesn't mean we feel like this every day. Right? There's sometimes where you question that. 100%, bro. And I think the main thing of people watching and listening is that you have to understand, this is the podcast is called Perspective. We are trying to give a what's the word? Plethora of perspectives. I don't know. Plethora. But I'm 21. You're what? 29. We haven't figured life. We haven't figured life out. The purpose of this is not to say this is how life is, this is how you should live it, this is XYZ, you have to do this. This is just us trying to understand different perspectives of life.
And in that journey, sometimes I get the feeling of existential crisis, because sometimes I sit there for an alternative perspective. Now I sit there sometimes and I think to myself, like when things come to light, or when you understand certain things, you think, well, what really is all of this about? Like, you get those questions, and one thing that I'll tell you what I mean by that. Recently I came across, I've really been questioning my own desires lately. I have.
Okay.
I've been questioning why I feel the way that I feel, what made me come to the conclusion that this is my purpose. And in true overthinking fashion, I don't just accept it, I question it and then reshape it, and then get to a point where I've taken it too far. And there's certain things that I see online that aid me in getting to that conclusion. Like, for example, I'll tell you that recently I saw a picture that came out in the files. You know the files I'm talking about. Can we say
Epstein files?
You can say it, right? Epstein files, right? And there was a picture in the Epstein files that when I first saw it meant nothing to me, because I had seen some horrible photos and some horrible I couldn't even emails and all of that, right? But this picture seemed pretty harmless. It was just a picture of Epstein and some guys in a room. And I was thinking, why is this in the files? Until somebody broke down what that picture was. And that, for me, gave me an existential crisis, because what the picture was Jeffrey Epstein sat in a room in Harvard University in America, like the most prestigious institution in all of the world, like Harvard, right? In a room and in a wing of the university where apparently he donated like $6 million to for research, some crazy stuff like that. And he sat in a room, and there are 3 people that have been identified in this picture, and the rest are unidentified people. 2 of them are leading evolutionary biologists, so basically like world-renowned scientists, mathematicians, geniuses. And the person to his left, I forgot his name, but he was the man that was responsible for Donald Trump's campaign, and was basically the guy who ran his campaign and allowed him all the tools to become president in 2016. And the picture was taken in about 2015 or 14 or something like that, so just before Donald Trump had become president. The person who ran his campaign was sitting to Epstein's left. But what was interesting about that picture was on the board behind them there was some advanced mathematical equations, and somebody broke down the fact that what the mathematical equations on the board were the understanding of how people change over time, and how ideas and trends become norms in society, and how difficult it is to reverse that idea once it's implemented in society. So they were studying, like, we're talking some of the most horrible, vile human beings that ever walked the planet Earth are sat in a room studying how people change over time and how ideas can shape society. Now, that gave me an existential crisis, because it made me realize that everything that I think I want, my desires, are they actually my desires, or have they been programmed to me to want to desire them? And that's where I come to the conclusion. I don't come to a conclusion. I don't have a conclusion. I come to the idea of, right, what you said earlier, what part of all of this life that I'm living is mine versus what part of it has been programmed for me to want to have.
Because if I can't lie, I don't know why, but the thing I go straight to is the fact that we are animals, right? Humans are animals, and from early existence it was just survival, whether it's shelter or food, whatever it is. And now what is it now? What is life now is so different to what it was back then. And that links to your point, is that like I said, I'm a human who just needs to survive, right? But then am I being made to believe I need more than that to survive?
That's the point. It's like, are you being wired in a way that makes you want to step outside of who you are for the benefit of somebody else that you might not know about, or do you really want it inside of you? And that needs a deep level of reflection.
And one thing, I believe factually that social media is 100% the biggest vessel that they use. If it is a fact that they do that,
that was probably part of the equation they had.
Yeah, social media is definitely like a big, if not the biggest vessel that they use, because the way social media scopes, like you say, desires of individuals and wants and just even the lives of people is absolutely insane.
And that's most people's obstacle.
Exactly. Yeah. Going back to the roads.
That they need the tools to overcome, and the tool being your real life.
Yeah, I can't lie. Social media for me, I think it has its positives, right? It can be memes, can be funny, or it can be educational. Like there can be educational side to social media, but like the dark side of it, I think I mentioned it last episode as well. It's like it can lead you down a dark path.
It's very dark, but it's like if we're coming back full circle to the beginning of the episode now, how much of it is the app or the technology versus how much of it is you?
Yeah.
Right? How much of it, like, because obviously,
so just like I can say all of that, but I can delete all social media. I done it a few months ago. I deleted social media for 2-3 months. I lived my life. It was fine.
Yeah,
like it was fine. You can live your life without social media. Like you can detach from it. You don't need it. But then again, like you said, I'm a user who chose to download the apps, who chose to be on social media, who chose to doom scroll, did this, that, and the other. So like you said, again, it's a sense of I have some sort of accountability for it as well.
Yeah, it's like a crutch. It's like you broke your ankle and you can't walk without crutches, right? And that's what social media has become for us. We're like broken inside, and like we need crutches to walk. We need social media to function. And the reality is you don't.
Yeah, but I do envy those people that genuinely live their life fulfilling their purpose and navigating their journey of life without social media. Because I think
it's possible.
And this is not me hating on social media as a whole, because like I said, it's amazing. It can be amazing.
In the wrong hands, it's dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. And in the wrong, in the hands of people who have a, let's say, weak, vulnerable, shall I say, mindset, in terms of they can be like what am I trying to say? They can be shaped quickly. Their thoughts and their ideas and their morals can be shaped very easily and changed very easily. I think it's very dangerous for people like that.
Yeah, because they're I know the word you're looking for. I'm gonna find it. It's not impressionable, like easily convinced. I
don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll find it. The comments will tell us what the word is. Honestly, yeah, man. It's a tricky subject. It's one that I wouldn't say I have answers to, but I have a perspective on. And so do you.
Definitely. That's the thing. That's the main thing with this whole episode now, bringing it to, let's say, a close, as we'll say. But I think the whole thing is that me and you are both agreeing on the fact that humans should live with purpose.
Yes.
Right?
I think everyone has one.
Yeah. Navigating the journey to your eventual purpose, or living within your purpose and navigating your ultimate outcome in life is not easy, and it's different for everyone. And I think it's not, again, let's say, it's not us trying to tell people how to live their lives. It's just, again, our perspective on it.
And I hope that we did cover a multitude of perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered the perspective of somebody like me who absolutely believes everyone has one. We also touched on the people
who just think life is much simpler than that, right?
And then we touched on the perspective of those who might feel that existential crisis of like how much of it is me versus how much of it is programmed,
and struggling to find their purpose
and
as well.
All of these all interconnected, multiple layers of what life is. And it's like I said somewhere in the middle of this episode, sometimes it's not about understanding it or having the answers. Sometimes it's just about accepting that you just gotta keep going, and life will just make more sense and just be a little bit sweeter if you just live inside of a purpose. And it doesn't have to be big, nor does it have to be small. It can be big or it can be small. It just needs to mean something to you, so that when you wake up, you want to spend the next 24 hours and you don't want to lay in bed and just want the day to be over.
And I think, like, people will be watching this, right? And we'll watch it back. And I genuinely think there might be points in the podcast where we might be rambling on or even just not making sense, but I think that's so perfect in the sense that life sometimes just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective. I like that, because there were parts where I was thinking to myself, right, where am I actually going? No, because I understand. I got there in the end all the time, but the journey sometimes took a couple of detours. And like you said, that's such a perfect analogy to life, is that you, like, just how we've brought this episode full circle, we didn't plan. There is no script in front of us. Like, full transparency, there is notes. All it says is purpose of life and journey of life. That's all it says.
Literally that.
And so we didn't write a script as to what, we just kind of navigated our way through a conversation, and we were able to bring it back full circle. And that is a perfect analogy to life. You just gotta go out there and just like live as much as we talk, and then just find your way, figure it out. And life has a funny way of coming full circle anyway. It will make sense in the end. Just trust the process.
Trust the process. Arteta.
And we're gonna sign off the episode. What an episode! I mean, we went through a range of emotions in this episode. What's the runtime? Do you know what the runtime is? Was it like an
hour to 15, something like that? We'll see anyway.
Oh no, that's gonna be a long episode. Okay.
It's fine.
We hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we enjoyed filming it. The energy was a bit low coming in this morning because obviously we didn't have you had your morning coffee. I didn't have mine. Not that I have one every day anyway. But the energy was low. But we got into it, and some really interesting topics. I really enjoyed what we spoke about today.
Likewise.
We hope you enjoyed the episode, and take care. Peace.